Hello learners, I welcome you to this lecture on Theories of the Origin of Oceans, Part 2, and in this theory we'll learn about continental drift theory regarding the origin of continents and oceans. You have studied this theory already in your course on geomorphology, but today in oceanography we'll study this theory regarding the origin of oceans. So, continental drift is the hypothesis that the Earth's continents have moved over geologic time relative to each other, thus appearing to have drifted across the ocean bed. In 1858, Antonio Sneeder gave the possibility of drifting of continents, and in 1908, Taylor gave the horizontal displacement of continents. This theory became popular when Wagner in 1912 gave the continental drift theory, but it became more popular when he elaborated his concepts in a book called Die Entstehung der Kontinente und Oceane in 1922. Wagner actually wanted to explain the change of climates in the geological past. So he felt that movement of land masses were more probable, and that has contributed to the climate change across the globe instead of just climatic zones have shifted. So he felt that movement of land masses were more probable. Expected learning outcomes. After viewing this video program, you should be able to explain the process of drifting of continents and the formation of oceans. Correlate with different evidences in support of the continental drift theory, identify loopholes or criticisms related to the theory, and analyze the theory as per recent researches in the area. So, what is the basic premise of the theory? Wagner viewed that continents are cealic masses that are floating like boats on the surface of seama or ocean surface without any resistance, and this work was based on the work of Suess. In this figure, you can see that Suess has given that three layers of the earth. The outermost is the cealic layer, the intermediate one is the seama, and the innermost layer is the nephe. Ceal is silicon and aluminium. The intermediate layer is the seama, which is silicon and magnesium, and the innermost layer is the nephe, which is composed of nickel and ferrous. So the basic premise of the theory was that land masses were united and it formed a complete united landmass which is called the Pangaea. Pangaea was surrounded by Panthalassa, or which is called the primeval Pacific Ocean. Laurasia or Angara land represented the northernmost part of the Pangaea, or the northern part of the Pangaea, and it composed of North America, Europe and Asia. Gondwana land was the southern part of the Pangaea, and it was composed of South America, Africa, Madagascar, Peninsular India, Australia and Antarctica. So in this figure you can see the Pangaea. The northern part is the Laurasia and the southern part is the Gondwana land. You can see all the land masses or the continents are united. So what were the forces responsible for the drift of the continents? The gravitational force and the buoyancy force. During the mid-Paleozoic period, equator was thought of passing through the temperate regions of current times, so the continent moved northwards. The gravitational force acts downwards and the buoyancy force acts upwards. So the resultant movement of the continents was directed towards the equator. Then the second force was related to the lunar attraction or the attractive forces of sun or moon, which caused the drifting of continents towards the west. So the disruption of continents began in the Carboniferous period. Tethys Sea was formed between Laurasia and Gondwana land. Gondwana land was disrupted during the Mesozoic era, and Indian Peninsula, Madagascar, Australia and Antarctica drifted apart. North America and South America drifted westwards during the Tertiary period. So this was the drifting of continents. Now you can see in this figure that Pangaea was emulated in the Permian period, and you can see in the Triassic period, the Tethys Sea is formed between the Laurasia and Gondwana land. And then in the Jurassic period, you see there are more drifting of continents, and you can see that the Indian peninsula is moving towards in the Panthalassa, and it is moving towards its current position. Then in Cretaceous, there's more drifting of continents, and you can see present day arrangement of continents. So all these 5 figures you show drifting of continents and the current state. Now, how the oceans were formed? This is the main question, because we are studying oceanography. And these oceans were formed due to the differential rates of the drift of North and South Americas, like S shape of the Atlantic Ocean. You know, the Atlantic Ocean was formed due to the differential rates of the drifting of North and South Americas, and the S shape formed. Similarly, Indian Ocean was formed due to the northward movement of the Indian Peninsula. Arctic Ocean and North Sea were formed due to drifting or flight of continents from the poles, and this term was given pole fluct, which meant the flight of continents from the poles. So in this way, you see the ancient or the primeval Pacific Ocean or the Panthalassa reduced, and it became the current Pacific Ocean, what we see now. Now, these are the geological time scales, like I was saying about Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous, or Carboniferous period. These are different periods you can see. The drifting of continents continued from Carboniferous to Pliocene period, and the present pattern of continents and oceans were formed in this way. Formation of tertiary fold mountains. The northward movement of Indian Peninsula and Africa led to the formation of tertiary fold mountains. So the sediments of the Tethys Sea were pressed, squeezed, and buckled to form a mighty chain of mountains or fold mountains, which started from Pyrenees to Alps and Atlas to Himalayas. Similarly, Rockies and Andes fold mountains were also formed due to the westward movement of continents. In this figure, you can see the Rockies and Andes mountains have formed due to the westward movement of the continents. So edges of the North America and South America has been folded in the form of fold mountains. And similarly, when the Indian peninsula and African continent shifted northwards, so the sediments of the Tethys Sea were squeezed, buckled in the form of fold mountains, and you can see Pyrenees, Alps, then Caucasus, and the mighty Himalayas, all are formed through this way. So these are the evidences in the support of continental drift theory. Then another evidence is the origin of island arcs also. You know, there might be the differential rate of the continental drift. So some parts of the continents were not keeping pace with the mainland or the main continent. So some islands were formed in between, like Eastern Asia. You see, there are so many islands. Similarly, in West Indies also, you see. Then between Tierra del Fuego and Antarctica also you see an arc of islands. So all these have been due to differential rates of the continental drift. Some parts were left behind, and the main continent shifted. So they were not keeping pace with the entire landmass. So these are evidences in support of the Wegener's theory, like jigsaw fitting of the continents. You see, the western part of the Africa and fits very well with the eastern part of the America or South America. So there is jigsaw fitting of continents, which suggests that all the land masses were united, and they must have drifted in course of time. Nature of the coastline also along the western coast of Africa and the eastern coast of Americas is similar to a great extent. There are ample geological and orogenetic evidences to prove this. Then climatic evidences also prove that there has been drifting of continents. Like cold seams have been found in areas. So there are so many areas like Damodar Valley in India, and these are tropical areas, but these have evidences of Carboniferous glaciation. So there are many areas in like Brazilian area also. So there are evidences of Carboniferous glaciation in areas which are tropical now. So this suggests that there has been somehow drifting of continents. Then evidences of flora and fauna also suggest that drifting of continents, like Glossopteris flora has been found across all the continents in the across Gondwana land, the ancient Gondwana land. So along India, Africa, Brazil, and South African countries, this Glossopteris flora is found. Now, lemmings were another animals which have a tendency to move towards the west. So they actually, when their number increases, they move towards the west, and accidentally they happen to drown themselves in the oceans. So this behavior of lemmings suggests that ancient land masses might have been united, and these animals have got the tendency of shifting towards west when their population increases. You can see in this figure the jigsaw fitting of the continents. The western part of Africa is very much fitting into the eastern part of South America, and you can see all the other continents like North America and parts of Greenland. There are also some sort of jigsaw fitting can be seen. In this figure, you see the distribution of ancient rocks. The rock types are similar along both the sides of the continents, as I told you. Now, what are the criticisms that arose through this theory? That many scientists and scholars said that this lacked scientific evidences, as gravitational pull of Earth or lunar attraction were too feeble to drift the continents. And on a spherical body, up to which longitude it is west, and where the drifting will stop, like continents are moving towards west. So on a spherical body, besides, jigsaw fit also had a lot of gaps, contradicted the assumption of Wagner himself contradicted the assumption that sail is floating on Sima without any friction. Because when friction happened, then only the edges were crumbled and squeezed into mighty pole mountains. Then there were evidences which in favor of climate changes were ignored. Then Caribbean islands had basaltic structure instead of sialic. Besides, geographical location of Australia and Antarctica was unexplained. So it failed to correlate continental drift with the cause of earthquakes and volcanoes. Still, his theory cannot be refuted because NASA report in 1984 confirmed the jigsaw fit with only 2% error. And it is also found that Atlantic Ocean is widening at the rate of 0.6 inches per year. Northern and Southern California are squeezing together at the rate of 2.6 inches per year. Then Hawaii Islands and South America is pressing together. So all these evidences suggest that his theory is working. Only you need to study it in greater perspective, like after the continental drift theory, Holmes convection current theory was given, then sea flow studies and plate tectonics. All these supported the continental drift theory. You will study these in different video lectures. So today's lecture was about the study of theories regarding the origin of oceans, and we studied how oceans emerged through the continental drift. Thank you.